Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Behar. As part of Sedra Behar, I'd like to tell you a story, and that'll hopefully help us understand the Sedra a little better. This was potentially a deal of a lifetime for Joseph. He had been developing this real estate project for the last 10 years. After setting up a system that would allow him to sell the properties individually, he was looking at another 4 to 5 years before he really saw a return on his profit, on his investment. But now, two companies had come to him with substantial offers to take the properties off his hands right now at a profit. Both companies had offered similar generous terms, and Joseph merely needed to decide between the two. Whenever Joseph had a difficult decision to make, he usually headed down to the kotel and studied that week's Sedra. The routine of studying helped Joseph clear his head and make decisions in a more logical manner. Joseph opened up this week's Sedra and read about a Jew selling his personal real estate. Hashem wrote, when you sell to your fellow Jew or make a purchase from the hand of a fellow Jew, you shall not wrong one another. In other words, don't rip each other off in business. According to the number of years after the Jubilee, the Yovel year, you shall purchase from your fellow Jew. According to the number of years of crops, that's how he shall sell to you. Joseph moved on from the pasuk and read Rashi's commentary on the verse. Rashi picked up on the extra wording that qualified the selling of property to be towards a fellow Jew, and Rashi wrote that the verse can be expounded to teach us the following lesson. How do we know that when you wish to sell, you should sell to your fellow Jew? Because the verse says when you make a sale, right, which should be enough, sell to your fellow Jew. And how do we know that if you come to buy, you should buy from your fellow Jew? Because the pasuk continued, when you buy, you should buy from your fellow Jew. Joseph was amazed. It was as if Rashi was talking directly to him. In Joseph's current sale, his real estate project, one buyer was Jewish and one was a Gentile. It seemed like Rashi was directing him to sell his properties to the Jewish bidder. Joseph thought about Rashi's words. He was curious. If the Torah dictates our logical methods towards one's personal perfection, how would selling property to a Jew better perfect himself than by selling to a Gentile? Joseph understood. He answered his own question. Jews are commanded to guard the well-being of their fellow Jews. It doesn't allow for the mistreatment of Gentiles, but only encourages the Jew to look out for his fellow Jew. Joseph knew from his studies of the laws of charity that one of the most efficient ways of helping a fellow Jew is to throw business his way. Joseph understood that the halacha of prioritizing business with a Jew over a Gentile was actually halacha in helping his fellow Jew. Joseph knew which bidder he was going to sell to, the one that enabled him to perfect himself by helping out his fellow Jew. And that's a great lesson from Sedra Behar. Shabbat Shalom.